Bulgarian umbrella is an umbrella with a hidden pneumatic mechanism which injects a small poisonous pellet containing resin. It was a hollow stalk into which the pellet neatly sits. Such an umbrella was allegedly used in the assassination of the Bulgarian dissident writer Gorky Markov on September 7, 1978 on Waterloo Bridge in London. Markov died 3 days later, and this gun was allegedly used in the failed assassination attempt against the Bulgarian dissident journalist Vladimir Kostov, the same year in the Paris metro. The poison used in both cases was resin. Both assassination attempts are believed to have been organized by the Bulgarian Secret Service with the assistance of the KGB. Bud bombs were an experimental Second World War weapon developed by the United States. The bomb consists of bomb-shaped casing with over 1,000 compartments, each containing a hibernating Mexican free-tailed bat with a small timing petrol bomb attached. Dropped from a bomber at dawn, the casing would deploy a parachute in mid-flight and open to release the bats, which was then roost in eaves and attics in 20 to 40 miles radius. The incendiaries would start fires in accessible places in the largely wood and paper construction of the Japanese cities that were weapon-intended targets. Anti-tank dogs were dogs taught to carry explosives to tanks, armored vehicles and other military targets. They were intensively trained by the Soviet and Russian military forces between 1930 and 1996 and used in 1941 till 1942 against German tanks in the Second World War. Although the original dog training routine was to leave the bomb and retreat, so that the bomb would detonate it by the timer. This routine failed and was replaced by an impact detonation procedure which killed the dog in the process. The US military trained anti-tank dogs in 1943 for use against fortifications, but never deployed them. Dog straps with explosives were unsuccessfully used by Iraqi insurgents in the 2000s. Acoustic Kitty was a CIA project launched by the Head Office of Science and Technology, which in the 1960s intended to use cats to spy on Kremlin and Soviet embassies. In an hour-long procedure, a veterinary surgeon implanted a microphone in the cat's ear canal, a small radio transmitter at the base of its skull, and thin wire into its fur. After 5 years of training and 20 million spent, the CIA decided to field test this project with a highly trained Acoustic Kitty agent. They drove a van across the street from a known Soviet meeting place in Washington, D.C. The targets were two men sitting on a bench in nearby park. They opened the door and deployed their secret kitty agent. The agent took a few steps and was hit and killed by a passing taxi cab. Needless to say, it was a catastrophe. The Acoustic Kitty project was then scrapped and was called a complete failure. KGB issued a lipstick pistol from the mid-60s, which are proof of this deadly Cold War ingenuity. The 4.5mm single-shot weapon, disguised as a tube of lipstick, was referred to as the Kiss of Death. Used by KGB operatives during the Cold War, the existence of the weapon was first detected at the border crossing into West Berlin. Lipstick was one of many options for concealing weapons during confidential operations. Torches, pens, tobacco pipes and cigarette packets were also used. This ring gun is old-timey and there is not a lot of information about it, which is too bad. I wonder how it actually works and if it can fire shots without breaking the finger. I also wonder how safe it would be carry a loading gun, as you could have some pretty horrible accidents fishing around for your keys in your pockets. But I suppose with bullets that small, it would be tough for it to do much damage. Gustav gun, the largest gun ever built. Heavy Gustav and Dora were the names of the two massive Second World War German 80 cm railway siege guns. They were developed in the late 1930s by Krupp for the express purpose of destroying heavy fortifications, especially those in the French Maginot Line. They weighed nearly 1,350 tons and could fire shells weighing 7 tons to a range of 37 kilometers. Designed in preparation for Second World War and intended for use against the deep force of the Maginot Line, they were not ready for action when the Wehrmacht outflanked the line during the Battle of France. Gustav was used in the Soviet Union at the siege of Sevastopol during Operation Barbarossa. They were moved to Leningrad and may have been intended for Warsaw. Gustav was captured by US troops and cut up, whilst Dora was destroyed near the end of the war to avoid captures by the Red Army. North Korea hates Park Sang-hak, a former citizen and now South Korea resident and activist against the brutal regime of the Kim Chongs. They hate him so much that they send a killer agent to eliminate him using these James Bondish weapons. Talking to CNN, a South Korea government official showed the apparently innocent object that the killer was planning to use to kill Park Sang-hak on the streets of Seoul. Two of them were pens, which apparently are standard issue among North Korean secret agents. The first kills on contact, injecting quickly a poison that paralyzes the victim and kills it within seconds. The second one fires one single bullet, a tiny projectile which is also filled with the killing venom. But those two were well known by the South Korean intelligence agency. The third weapon, however, is completely new to them, a flashlight that has 3 holes. Each hole is actually gun barrel, which gets activated with the push of the button. One click and boom, you are dead. The largest and strangest armored vehicle ever built was made in 1914 in Russia, developed by Nikolai Lebedenko. The tank uses the good old tricycle form instead of caterpillar tracks. The two big wheels were 27 feet high and powered by two 250 horsepower Sunbeam engines. The weight of the big wheels was too much, so it often got stuck in the ground. After some tests, the tank remained somewhere in a field and stood there 8 years before it was taken apart. The Vespa 150 TAP scooter with a US-made M20 75mm recoilless rifle produced by ACMA, the licensed assembler of Vespas in France. It was made for French paratroops and introduced in 1956.